Hey, this is Bailey at The Pour-Over.
And this is Joe at The Pour-Over.
Today we're talking about President Trump announcing fresh tariffs on the EU, Mexico, and Canada, a confusing preliminary report on last month's Air India crash, who won at Wimbledon, and other top news for Monday, July 14th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with The Pour-Over.
Here's your quote of the day. The ultimate test of a moral society is the kind of world that it leaves to its children. Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
President Trump is giving August 1st the full tariff treatment. Over the weekend, Trump announced 30% tariffs on Mexico and the EU following Thursday's announcement of 35% tariffs for Canada, all set to take effect August 1. Trump acknowledged Mexico's help slowing fentanyl and illegal migration, but said it hasn't done enough to stop North America from becoming a, quote, narco-trafficking playground. The EU called the tariffs unfair and promised it's, quote, ready to take necessary countermeasures. Though the White House warned any retaliatory tariffs would be matched and added on top of the 30% baseline. Meanwhile, Canada paused its promised retaliation of 50% tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum while negotiations continue. The U.S. Treasury posted a surprise $27 billion surplus in June, fueled partly by record tariff revenue, but it remains on track for a larger than last year deficit. Regardless of what happens in the global economy, God will remain in control. In the midst of uncertainty on earth, set your hope on the abundance we will enjoy with Christ when he comes. 1 Peter 1:3-4 says, Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because of his great mercy, he has given us a new birth into a living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, and into an inheritance that is imperishable, undefiled, unfading, kept in heaven for you.
New details from last month's Air India crash are raising eyebrows. A preliminary report indicates that both fuel switches in the Boeing 787 Dreamliner were flipped just 3 seconds after takeoff, immediately cutting engine power. In an audio recording from the cockpit, one pilot asks why the other, quote, did the cutoff, which the other pilot denies. Investigators say the switches are designed with added safety features to prevent accidental flipping and are typically used in the event of an engine fire or to turn off the engines once at an airport gate. The report didn't mention any other emergencies or mechanical issues, but officials urged the public not to jump to conclusions and await the final report. The crash killed 260 people on board and on the ground, making it the deadliest aviation accident in over a decade. Here's a verse to consider when global news makes you feel like you're inside a spy movie. First of all, then, I urge that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for everyone, for kings and all those who are in authority, so that we may lead a tranquil and quiet life in all godliness and dignity. 1 Timothy 2, verses 1-2.
Iga Swiatek and Jannik Sinner are Wimbledon champions. In the women's final Saturday, 8th-seeded Iga Swiatek of Poland became the first Wimbledon champion since 1911 to post a double bagel, winning 6-0, 6-0 in the finals, defeating 23rd-seeded American Amanda Anisimova. On the men's side, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner renewed their rivalry, with Sinner emerging victorious in 4 sets just a month after losing to Alcaraz at the French Open. Both Swiatek and Sinner, who played in front of the usual Wimbledon audience of British royals and global A-listers, received a cool £3 million payday. That's roughly $4 million in Uncle Sam money. In team ball sports, tonight is the annual Home Run Derby in Atlanta, where 7 of the 8 participants are first-timers, and tomorrow is the MLB's 95th Midsummer Classic. Too often, we let eternally insignificant things, like sports, control our mood and behavior. It's not wrong to enjoy these things, but remember, whether your team wins or loses, nothing of true importance has changed. Hebrews 12:2 tells us to keep our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith.
Hey, it's Ellie from The Pour Over, and I'm officially in my breezy summer era, swapping out my cold weather wardrobe for linen everything. And with Quince, the transition's been effortless. Their linen is 100% European flax, which sounds fancy, and is, but their summer staples come without the fancy price tag. I grabbed a couple pairs of linen pants and some overalls, and have zero budget regret. Whether I'm heading to church, packing for vacation, or just trying not to sweat through another Tuesday, Quince is my new breezy BFF. Stick to the staples that last. With elevated essentials from Quince, go to quince.com/TPO for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/TPO to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TPO.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. President Trump and First Lady Melania visited Kerrville, Texas on Friday, the epicenter of the July 4th flooding. Trump praised the efforts of local officials and first responders, saying, quote, "You couldn't get better people," while defending against criticism of the flood response. Melania received a special bracelet from representatives of Camp Mystic and pledged to return to support the camp.
An Arizona resident has died from the pneumonic plague, a first in the U.S. since 2007. Plague is rare in humans, averaging 7 cases a year, mostly in the West. It spreads via infected fleas or contact with sick animals. Though infamous for its medieval death toll, it's treatable with antibiotics today, if diagnosed and treated quickly.
The Epstein conclusion has sparked a rift in the White House. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino is reportedly considering resigning after clashing with Attorney General Pam Bondi over the decision not to release more Epstein files. The dispute centered on a, quote, missing minute in surveillance footage of Epstein's cell, blamed on outdated tech, but pinned on Bongino internally.
The State Department's got a lot of exit interviews on the calendar. Last week, the U.S. Foreign Affairs Agency fired around 1,350 U.S.-based employees and plans to cut around 1,500 more. It's part of a massive reorg to make the department, quote, more efficient and focused. Democrats and former diplomats are criticizing the cuts, saying they, quote, weaken diplomacy.
Beliebers were canceling their weekend plans after Justin's surprise album drop. Bieber released Swag, which features a cameo from his 10-month-old son Jack Blues on the cover, on Friday. Swag is the Canadian pop star's first album in 4 years and marks a return to music after cutting his 2022 tour short due to a battle with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great Monday. See you on Wednesday.
What if you could boost your savings while advancing the gospel? With Christian Community Credit Union, you can. With their high-yield Harvest Bundle, you can earn 4% APY and a $100 bonus with Harvest checking accounts, and a 5% APY and a $100 bonus with Harvest savings accounts. Plus, every deposit made is used to finance growth of churches and ministries. Bank with your values with CCCU. Apply for the Harvest Bundle today at mycccu.com/TPO bonus. Offer ends July 31st, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Membership eligibility required. Each account is insured up to $250,000. This institution is not federally insured.